Evening everybody. This is a comparison video between two camping mattresses. On my left we have the Airgo Cirro DLX, which I think is a go outdoors copy or in-house option, or perhaps some affiliation with go outdoors, a bit like OEX. And to my eyes this looks remarkably similar to the Outwell Dreamboat, which is perhaps their most expensive and comfortable variant. They do two thicknesses, 7.5 centimeters and 12 centimeters, and I have lied on one before, but I've never slept on one. But anyway, this is the Outwell, the Go Outdoors equivalent at 10 centimeters, and it retails at about 150, but I think it's always in the sale for 100. And to my right, we have the Outwell Dreamcatcher, which is massively cheaper than their Dreamboat. Probably around £70, I think, perhaps, something like that. Maybe 100 if it's not on their sale, but yeah, you can normally find it for about 70. So 70 on the right in the Outwell, and on the left is 100. So the Outwell I've had for at least 6 months. It's the old version because I did buy it second-hand on the internet, on eBay. And actually, it was by far and away the most comfortable mattress I've owned so far. I tried lots of 3 centimeter thick and 5 centimeter thick self-inflating mats, but they were all pretty uncomfortable, to be honest. I like to sleep comfortably. So this was a massive jump up and improvement. You'll note that it's supposed to be 10 centimeters thick, and it is ever so slightly, you can just about see the angle there. It's a tiny bit lower down than the Airgo, but not a huge amount, less than half a centimetre or so between the two. So I've had at least, well, I've used this one exclusively since I bought it 6 months ago, so I've had 10 or 15 nights on it now. It's quite nice. It folds into a relatively reasonable sized bag. It's still too big for backpacking really, although I actually do use it for that because I'm prepared to carry the weight for comfort, but it does weigh 2.3 kilograms, so it's a bit of an old beast really. When you get an ultralight one for 500 grams, it's a lot more to justify. I think the newer versions have got slightly different taps here, but it has started slowly or quite quickly deflating. 2 hours lying on it and it deflates. The only thing with it is it's so blooming comfortable that even when it's deflated, there's so much foam, it's incredibly comfortable. I had a night in -4 degrees in a tent only a couple of nights ago, and it deflated and it didn't really trouble me. It still kept me really warm from the ground. It's got quite a hard wearing, you can probably hear that scratchiness, quite a hard wearing surface to it, which is quite good. The surface is quite slippery, there's no it's just as slippery on each side. In fact, actually feeling that the top is slightly less slippery, but it's still fairly slippery, and it's not that wide. I don't know what that's considered, 60 centimeters probably. I don't know, you can Google it. But yeah, for what I paid for it on eBay, it was great, and yeah, I rather like it really. The best thing about it is when you roll it up and want to put it in this bag, it's really easy to put in. You can roll it up and you can kneel on it and compress it as best you can, but actually you can roll it up quite loosely and then kneel on it right at the end, and it will end up being pretty much the same volume as long as you close the taps when you've rolled it up. But because this bag opens lengthways, you can put it in the bag, wrap it around, and then tie it up with the string. It's really easy. Really good. Really good. So yeah, that's possibly the best thing about it, is how easy it is to put back in its bag. To the left we have this Airgo. So you can see it's quite a lot wider. Again, you'll have to Google it, but to my eyes, in fact I can probably put them on top of each other. To my eyes that's 10 centimeters wider. Now this Airgo is quite a different beast. Yeah, I mean, what is the difference in size there? Possibly even more than 10 centimeters. I mean, it looks like it's got at least 10 on the left, and probably, you know, three on the right. So it might be 10 to 15 centimeters wider. So I bought the Airgo just because this had a bit of a leak, and I haven't really bothered trying to find out where the leak is. It's probably from these taps on this Outwell Dreamcatcher. So I don't know if that could be repaired. I'm not going to throw it away because I can't sell it with a leak, but I'd like to try and find out where the leak is and possibly plug it up. It might mean just gluing whichever of those taps leaks gradually. I could just seal it up properly and just hope that the other one does the inflating. They will pretty much self-inflate entirely on their own. The Airgo self-inflates really quite quickly on its own. The Dreamcatcher, to get full inflation, takes a bit longer. You can blow in it and top it up, which is quite a good feature. I don't, although very long term you end up with bacteria from your breath and your mouth inside the mat, and it becomes a bit nasty apparently. But I don't know if you can do it with this one because the valve is a bit different. But you probably could. So yeah, much wider, tiny bit thicker, and it definitely feels quite different. It feels to me like it's got a slightly different type of foam. It's perfectly well inflated, but it's definitely softer. Like you can just put your your foot just disappears and sinks into it, a bit like a memory foam mattress. Whereas this one, it doesn't. You can see you can see quite a lot of area around my foot is now sinking because it feels more rigid, whereas this seems to only sink the very area you're standing in. You've got more of a dimmock there. So I think this is actually a fair bit more comfortable, and it's much wider, of course. But it is a lot heavier at 3.5 kilograms, is it? 3.4, something like that. It's a lot heavier. But if you're only camping, or car camping, I'd say this was definitely much more comfortable. So an extra £30 for a inferior brand, but probably a Dreamboat copy, pretty good. I think you can get the Dreamboat for about 160 if you really shop around. Just about, it retails at 200, but you can get it for about 160, the 12 centimetre version, and that's probably the real daddy. But for £60 less, you can get this Airgo copy that I would say, I'm not sure another 2 centimetres would make that more comfortable. It probably wouldn't. I haven't compared the weight. I think the Dreamboat 12 centimetres weighs the same as this at about 3.5 kilos. It might even weigh a bit less. So whether it's got less foam in it or a different type of foam, I don't know. But yeah, even though on paper they look fairly similar, this is definitely a more comfortable and supportive mattress. If you're sleeping on your back, it probably doesn't matter, but I sleep on my side, and so my shoulder and my hip touch the ground on most mattresses. It doesn't on either of these, but this achieves its 10 centimetres through less foam and a higher inflation percentage. And I mean, if I just stand in the corner here, you can see that the top's flapping up because it is quite rigid. And even if I stand quite far in the middle, really, the top bends up. If I stand at the same sort of place here, the top doesn't move as much. Actually, it moves more than I thought it would. Oh, it does move quite a lot, doesn't it? maybe I'm imagining the difference. But there we go. So they're both good mattresses. They're both massively more comfortable than these little 3 and 5 centimetre things. Massively more comfortable. But actually, the Airgo at an extra £30 from the Dreamcatcher probably worth the premium if you can put up with the extra size. It is noticeably bigger. The final thing about the Airgo is it comes at a normal size mat, which is really, really annoying because you've got to really compress this thing to just about squeeze it in there, and it's just a bit of a faff, really. It's much, much, much easier in the Dreamboat one. I don't think it would work, would it? I might even try and convert that to open like the Dreamcatcher one, but I don't think it would work, sadly. And it won't fit in there. It's noticeably larger in diameter. I might take a quick video of the diameter of these two and put it up because there's a noticeable difference there. But anyway, okay guys, well I hope that helps, and yeah, stay tuned for more videos on wild camping stuff.